Super Retro Force.
What's going on, YouTube? I'm going to talk today. Oof. Alright. So I've had some people talk to me lately about the collecting and why did I stop and how am I getting, what am I all doing to kind of, or what caused it, I should say, is what has been one of the huge things. I've talked about how it took a video from RGT85 Surprise. I don't, a lot of people are surprised to hear that, especially since I don't follow him or anything anymore. But when he sold his collection to Phoenix Resale, and I don't know if he was acting, I don't know what was going on with it, but the sincerity in him when he sold it really kind of hit home at me.
This is the 18th level of the Purge system. You'll all be doing this by Labor Day. All right, do it to it, Lars.
It's my honor, Tony.
And that was kind of the step that I needed to go in the right direction and purge a lot of my collection and really start focusing on just doing what I love now, which is playing games and only getting games that I would love to play. But there was one thing that was still hard for me to do. Was when I was purging these games, obviously there were some easy ones to do, fillers and stuff like that, or racing games, sports games that I'm not going to play and I don't really like. I don't like that genre, fighting games. Those three right there are kind of like my no-go. I'm not a huge fan of those. So those were easy. But when it started to come to games like NES games and some Sega Genesis games, I was really like, well, I might not play these, but they look cool. Or, what if I want to play them down the road? What if I want, what if I need these for some collection I'm going to do later on in life? And, yeah, it was rough. And it took a lot, but this might be blasphemy, or whatever you want to, I can never say it right. You guys know how hard I am at saying certain words. I don't know, it's just, it sounds perfect in my head, but when it comes out of my mouth, it just doesn't work. Might be blasphemy. But what it took was modding consoles and doing digital stuff. I want to bring this up right now. Let's see here. Big shout out to Diego Cassidy, I think is how I say it. He said, the collector in me has died. I buy modded consoles and it's a lot better. We just get old and grow up, I guess. So he commented that on a recent video of mine. And it got me to thinking. And there's been some other people that have commented this too. They said that they were finally able to get rid of some of their games because they modded some stuff and got it on there. Now you can see behind me over here, there is a PlayStation 1 Mini. I have an NES Mini back there as well. You can see by the NES box. And then I actually have my Super Nintendo Mini Classic hooked up over there. Now, originally, these didn't have that many games on them. So it was just kind of like some really cool ones on there. But then I looked up one day how to mod them and how to add more games on. And absolutely game changer. Now, on top of that, too, a year or so ago, I invested, I think it was around $100 into a RetroPie and some SD cards and stuff like that. And now I have a basically plug-and-play console with like 5,000 games on there. So, yes, some of you out there, especially who like to gatekeep playing physical only, that's your choice. I understand that. I got nothing against you guys. I like playing physical too. But this helped kind of push me in the right direction of getting rid of the stuff that I was not 100% sure on. I've talked in the past that almost any game that you sell, you could someday get back if you really regret it. Someone had commented before saying, nope, that doesn't happen all the time. It honestly does. I mean, unless it's some rare, like what was that, Earthbound that had the stinky thing that smelled like puke or garbage or something like that, or something rare like that. Yes, obviously it'd be hard for you to get that back without spending a ton of money. But if it's something as simple as, I don't know, Bahamut Lagoon, or I don't even know why that came to my mind, but Streets of Rage 2, something like that. If you hadn't played it in years and you haven't really felt like playing it, you can always get that back down the road if you do find yourself really regretting it. But you will surprise yourself somewhat. I know a lot of people that said, and they've commented this when I've talked about this in the past, that they were surprised that they sold a bunch of stuff, and at first it kind of stung a little bit, but down the road they found out a couple months later that they stopped thinking about it, and it didn't bother them anymore. And that's really what kind of happened with me. Now, when I started selling some of this stuff off, my biggest worry was, oh my god, a year down the road, what if I'm going to be like, oh my god, I need these games back. Why did I get rid of all these games? I'm an idiot. Why did I sell all these games? But I noticed the one day I wanted to play Super Mario World. My Super Nintendo was back there. My cords were up there, all put away. My controllers were God knows where, in one of these totes somewhere. And I was just like, man, this is going to be a pain in the butt to get all this out. Oh wait, I have a Super Nintendo Classic. All I need is an HDMI cord, my controller, and the AC adapter, which I keep those all together. And normally they're in an actual Ziploc bag. So it took me 5 seconds to get that thing going. Or I have my Retro Pi, which I usually keep hooked up somewhere, whether it's on my computer or easy access. And that is simply just an HDMI cord and a power supply. And the controller's always with that. So it took 5 seconds to get it rolling. We just had date night. Me and my wife, and we came down here and we played like I said, that's why I got the Super Nintendo hooked up. It took me literally a few minutes to get it all hooked up and going. And on top of that, we had access to a bunch more games that I didn't have to keep getting up and swapping out. So what does this have to do with the modded console things? Games that were simple fillers that I thought that I might regret getting rid of because I couldn't play them, settled in that yes, I can play them. I have a console, a plug and play with 1,000 games on there, and this is on there. So if I ever just get the random urge to play this game, I have it. So why should I keep it physically? And I know I can already hear the comments coming. Well, you don't own that. It's a digital game. You don't own that. And yes, it's true. On all honesty, yes. But this thing can't connect to the internet. So there's honestly really no way that anybody could show up and take this from me. And yes, maybe the console will die down the road and then I'll lose it. And if for some reason Nintendo goes on a tyranny thing and just starts making it so every time something connects to a network, it takes it down. And you can't play games digitally anymore like that with ROMs or stuff like that. Then yes, it'll be regretful and it'll suck. But it is what it is. If anything, down the road too, physical stuff does degrade. I've had numerous Nintendos that I've had to buy parts for to fix because it's degrading, guys. Now this isn't turning into a down with physical, up with digital stuff. I'm just saying how it is. And believe me, I'm on the fence with both of it. I see what happens with these digital stuff. A huge one I seen a while back was actually what's going on right now is Sega is pulling a lot of their main franchises from digital stuff. So it's being pulled off everything, and it looks like Sega's making some hidden moves in the background. But I know that stuff happens. But I'm just saying that having the modded option of a console or anything like that, and having a digital thing, made it a lot easier for me to sell off stuff that I wasn't even that I was on the fence about doing. I'll be doing a video down the road. Somebody gave me a good idea on, I don't know if hopefully I wrote his name, man. Yeah, Stannis the Manus. He gave me a good idea that what he did was, he did a Microsoft Excel sheet, and he cataloged his collection into tier lists. And anything that was S, A, or B automatically stayed, and anything that was D tier or below, D tier below he got rid of, and C he had to look at it case by case and really kind of just like, I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. And I thought about doing that stuff with whatever I have left. I think that's a great idea, and I think a lot of collectors that are looking to sell, that is a great option to do. Stannis the Manus is the Manus. That's for sure. So, in summary, don't show up at my house with the pitchforks and the torches trying to say that I'm all against physical. I'm not. I'm just telling you guys, kind of what I've talked about too, and it's all in opinions too. We all like to play the games a certain way we play the games. I still obviously collect physical. I don't buy any digital only games. I still haven't played Alan Wake 2 because I'm not going to support a company that only does a digital only release. Even though nowadays when you buy a game, you can't really play it unless you update it, which is bullshit. Oh, excuse my language, sorry. But I recently bought Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake on PS4, and I bought the physical copies because I would much rather have that than the digital, but it is what it is. So in summary, you know, that was one reason that helped me get rid of a lot of my collection, was having a digital variant of it. And then just remembering that if there is a game down the road that you do regret selling, you can always get it back. These things are all over the place, especially with the way the internet is nowadays. So yes, you can find it. So with that being said, I want you guys to comment below what you guys thought about this video, and you can be honest if you want. If you didn't like something in it, then that's cool, guys. I don't try to be I don't try to fight and argue with people on this channel. If there's something you don't like it, and that's what I'm saying. If you know, the same with me. If there's something you don't like what I say, that's how I play. That's how a lot of people play. And as long as we're enjoying games and keeping, you know, as long as we're enjoying playing the games, that's all that matters. Collections are, yes, for preservation and stuff that people do, but for the most part too, having these games also is enjoying these games. And that's something that over the years I'm finally starting to understand a lot more than before. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay retro, my friends, and we will see you in the next video. God bless, guys.
Super Retro Force.